Okay, so
Addict.
in my case, I had my husband was insisting on subscribe me to, but I really haven't feel really interested on them. But after subscribe me to some of them, I was like really interesting and I like them a lot. So it will be addictive for me, especially in the topics I like. So first, what is a podcast? Usually a podcast is any digital medium that consists in like a series of audio or video or digital radio that you subscribe to and you can download on the web to your computer or your mobile device. And this one usually is in a MP3 format, so it's really easy to have it in any electronic device. Interesting fact is that last year iTunes reached 1 billion subscription to podcast. So it's something that is getting really used in the United States at least. So I have some programs. For example, I'm using podcast on my cell phone, and you can download it. Basically, you will like the option to add, to search, and to subscribe to a lot of podcasts. So you can go there and search it by name or by whatever you're interested in. Basically, I think last year the most was this one. That was a serial for the people that likes that kind things like murder and criminal things. That it should be a really a good podcast to start with. And usually was just so podcast of this podcast. So there are another ones I listen to, like Planet Money, for example. And this one is like a 10, 12 minutes duration. And usually it will take some subjects like what is the milk on the back of the supermarket, or why your M&Ms, the M&Ms bag will have only 16 ounces or something like that. There are really interesting facts that that it will keep you really just listening at that podcast. So there are another ones like economics. For the ones that already read the book, will be something that you can start listening. But what makes them so addictive? So, in my opinion, I think of them because the narrative and the different effects they add to the podcast, like the music. So not all of them will be so good, but it will depend in your taste, I think. It will, do you like? For example, you can play them in your mobile, and your computer, your iPod, etc. So some people, it will say that listening to podcasts, it feels like I'm being productive, but with my time, well, I'm wasting time. But I don't feel that way. I think you can listen to them while doing something else, like drive. You know that, for example, in Tegus, you can get stuck in traffic a lot. So it is a really good way to be productive and to be listening to something that you are interested in. And you can do it while you are doing exercise, for example. So it's a really good choice. Also, I think in our case, it's really good because you can improve your English just listening to this podcast. And there are so many options. There are topics, economics and astronomy. So you can find a really big variety of topics over there that you can be listened to. So, for example, in this application that I use, the podcast Addict, I can have all my subscriptions over there. And usually the podcast will be like in a weekly basis. So you will have new ones every week. And they can be from 8 minutes to an hour sometimes. So it will depend which podcast do you choose. And also, for example, in this application, I can have them, all of them, in the same application. I can see which ones I already listened to. And also, you have some options to synchronize your podcast between your computer and your mobile. Sometimes you can download it if you want it into your phone. I think there are some of them like This American Life that is really popular, that with another programs you can't download them so easy. So for example, this one we allow you to do it in your mobile phone. So I think from my point of view, just is something that I have been doing for the last 2 months, and I think it's just great. I have another really interesting podcast like Reply All that will give you like some internet. It's talking about internet, some really weird apps that are just coming out over there. And there are another ones like What the Fuck with I think that is another one that is more comedy. So you can choose whatever you like over there. Probably it will be easier at the beginning just to start downloading the ones that you think you would like, and then just look for another options on the web. You can have some pages that will tell you what are the more famous podcasts, some topic related that you are interested in. So I think there is a really big wall over there. It's just for you to see it and to start discovering it. So I think that's all from my side.
Thanks, Aida. Great talk. We'll go on to the next talk now.